So hi, this should take maybe 20 minutes to get through, maybe less. Depends on the tempo you want to go. Once you see what we're doing, you can always do it on your own later. But so just take your time, move slowly through this, and enjoy, hopefully. Okay. We're going to start on our backs. You want to make sure the blanket is supporting your head and that you're comfortable. And you're centering right into the middle of the pelvis, shoulder blades tucked downwards. So instead of squeezing into the spine, you really want to feel as though you've got pockets in right where your shoulder blades would be, and you're just trying to put them in a little bit deeper. And then right on the back of the head. So once you feel like you're settled in, we'll just go ahead and let the knees maybe move just a little bit from side to side, kind of get the massage going across the buttocks. Very easy, very simple. Maybe just breathing in or out on one side, inhaling back to the center, letting yourself exhale a little bit to the other side. Just taking your time, giving yourself a little bit of a massage, even feeling it moving back and forth, side to side over your feet. And just seeing even how far up into the upper back you can begin to feel this little movement in your hips. Just being conscious of every place that's getting a little bit of motion. After a few times, just go ahead and settle right into the very center and bringing your knees in towards you. Give yourself a little bit of a squeeze, and we'll now get that side to side in the middle of the back now. You can use your elbows, just kind of bump into them if you want to. And it can be, again, a little bit of an exhaling to one side as you start to breathe in, coming back into the center. So this is very slow. Very relaxed, giving yourself plenty of time to feel the way your back is against the floor. And after you've gone back and forth a couple of times, each side, go ahead and center in the middle, and this time we'll go up and down the spine. Letting your hands slide down and then back up to the kneecaps. Just a few times if you want to, as you go through this a few more times, offer a little bit of resistance here. You can, or if you're happy, just letting it be an easy slide. So we're looking for the back waist to go to the floor, and as you inhale, the back waist lifts a little bit. Then we'll move on, that as the feet come to the floor, we'll go ahead and take the arms overhead. And then exhaling, hands and knees together. Inhale, feet to floor, arms overhead. And then again, exhaling back to center. One more time, overhead, and we'll hold for an extra breath here. And then bringing knees back, hands hold on. This time we'll take feet up to the ceiling. You just let your hands slide down the thigh, just like we were doing before, except now the feet go to the ceiling. You can wiggle the feet a little bit while they're up there and then come back down a couple more times. Maybe begin to flex your ankles, getting a little stretch into the calf muscles. Check to see if you've kind of pressed your back waist into the floor. And as you take the feet up, see if you can maintain pressure on the back of the pelvis instead of the waist. One more time. This time stay there. Push the heels up. And this time as you tuck in, we'll open the knees apart. Maybe take a breath in. And this could be an exhale if you want to. Feet up, maybe a little further apart this time. And in. Breathing in, open the knees apart. Exhale the knees together. Inhale, feet a little bit further apart. Flex. Bringing back in. Open wide. Exhale. Taking the feet back up, even further apart this time. Back of the pelvis to the floor, so we're not in the waistline. Coming back in, open apart, and hold for an extra breath. And letting the knees come together, feet up and out, and this time we'll hold for 2. Keep the back of the pelvis to the floor. Lightness in the back of the waist. Go ahead and close the knees together, placing the feet to the floor, letting their arms open out into a T, And we'll take up into a bridge pose, breathing in as you lift, and exhale, coming down, rolling through the spine. You want to feel the back waist this time, moving into the pelvis, lightness in the back of the waist. And take a breath. Next inhale, pushing up. Exhaling down. Take a breath. Inhaling, pushing up. We'll stay there for an extra breath. Little energy on the arch side of the foot will just automatically help those knees stay over the feet. And then letting yourself rolling all the way back down. We'll draw knees into the chest, and this time finding happy baby. You can hold ankles, backs of the thighs, or feet. Wherever you feel right now is the best place for you. You can even grab your big toes. And sometimes rocking from side to side feels good. Now release heels together. Hold on to your ankles, let your knees press apart. And then releasing feet to floor. We'll just find a full body stretch here. Legs slowly down the mat. Arms reaching overhead. And then releasing. Slide the feet up. Resume your posture again. Just checking in, making sure you feel okay here. And when you're ready, just shifting over to one side. And slowly letting yourself come up. And once you're up, with that blanket, you can keep it folded or you can open it if you prefer. And finding your way into tabletop. Hands securely underneath the shoulders. If that's too much of a 90 degree, just letting the hands walk a little bit, but keeping hips over the knees. Tops of the feet are pressing gently into the floor to keep the lower belly engaged. And we'll go ahead and curl the right toes, sitting back a little bit into just the right heel. Get a little stretch into the sole of the foot. And we'll go ahead and come back up. Right leg extends. Use your hands to press into the heel. Get a little extra stretch through the calf. We'll draw that knee up, wrap it around the left leg, knee to knee, and sink back. If that's not going to work for you, come into child's pose, just regular child's pose. And we'll go ahead, come on up back into tabletop and simple child's pose. Rising back up. Curl the left toes this time, sinking into the heel. Lifting up, left leg extends, toe still curled, pressing into the heel. A little stretch in the back of the calf. And bringing the knee up and around the right leg, or sinking just back into regular child's pose. This is not for everybody. Sinking into that heel. If you're in child's pose, just stay there. We'll go ahead and release, coming up, finding tabletop. Hands settle underneath you once again. We'll find a little bit of a cow pose here. Not much, just enough to get a little arch in the back. Shoulder blades are still pocketing down. Pressing into the tops of the feet, a little stretch through the belly. And we'll release. Letting the right toes curl, we'll lift up, press back into just one-legged dog here. Easy into that right heel. Take your time, maybe bending the right knee a little bit. No rush. We'll come into tabletop. Letting your hands walk forward a little bit, rolling yourself down to the floor. Forehead touches the ground. Bring your hands around behind you, interlace. Keep your belly button on the floor and just lifting the upper body. Shoulder blades still pressing down, but keep the ribs and the belly on the ground. We're looking for the face to still facing the floor rather than looking forward, so we're not pressing or contracting through the cervical spine. We want to keep that nice and open. Pressing shoulders down. One more breath. Bringing hands alongside the ribs. We'll press up and find simple child's pose. Letting yourself sink back to the ground. Rising back up, table. Left toes curl, pressing up into that one-legged dog on this side. So again, easy, a little bit of bend in the knee, soften through the sole of the foot, soften the toes. Using the full range of shoulder blades, so we're just really pushing ourselves away from the ground. Rather than locking the shoulder blades into the back, go ahead and find that full range, and once you find that full range, then go ahead and let the neck release. And we'll come down to the floor. Walking the hands forward, rolling down. Forehead touches. Hands come around behind, interlace the fingers. Keep belly button, ribs on the ground. And lifting just up, upper back, eyes on the floor. Resist that urge to look forward. Keep extending through, keep stretching through the back of the neck. One more breath. We'll bring hands back to the floor, rolling up, and just settling back into full child's pose. Resting your wrists, your arms, and bring hands or forearms underneath your forehead. And then we'll go ahead and rise up, and getting your block, we'll bring it over to the side. Coming up onto the shin, and if the block can turn either this way or this way, we're going to resist the urge if you can to turn it up because it's so unstable. And left fingertips to the block. You're on your left shin and right foot out to the side, sole of the foot on the floor. You can be on your fingertips or the palm of the hand, taking right arm up to the ceiling, pulling bicep towards the ear, squeeze down into the right sole of the foot. A little openness in the rib cage, so we're inviting the rib cage to turn just a little bit. One more breath. And we'll go ahead and come all the way up. Right hand slides down, left hand comes to the ear. And releasing. To turn the right toes up to the ceiling, sitting down onto the left heel. And that left heel comes around in front. We're sitting into the seat bones and letting yourself fold over that ankle. Coming forward, don't have to go too far, just enough to feel comfortable in your hips. Check to see if that right seat bone came off the ground and keep it down on the floor. It's going to help stretch the lower back when we keep that right seat bone on the ground. One more breath. And we'll go ahead and come up, bring that block back to where it was. If you moved it, we'll come up, find that side gate pose again. Arm pulls, hips go forward. And we'll go ahead and release. And sit down into your table. So if you'd like to repeat that a couple of times to that one side, maybe twice, and then moving into table, or just once. And then we'll sit back into child's pose. And letting that block come over to the other side, coming up onto the shin, right hand to the block, left foot out. Fingertips or the palm of the hand, bicep to ear, hips forward, shin pressing into the floor. Rotate the ribs just a little bit. Breathe. Every inhalation, try to stretch through those left ribs. And then coming up after a couple of breaths, hand comes down, right arm up, bicep to ear. Check to see if you're sitting back into the heels. Keep sending the pelvis gently forward. And then we'll release, turning left toes to ceiling, letting yourself sit onto the heel, and then that foot comes around. And hand folding over the ankle, coming straight. Check to see if that left seat bone came up, and keep that left seat bone grounded so we can get good stretch into the lower back. If you'd like to even tuck the chin, letting yourself come a little bit more forward. Don't have to go too far here. And we'll go ahead and come back up, finding that side gate pose again. And releasing, and then repeating to each side, maybe 2 or 3 times each side. We'll find an exhalation after you finish both sides. Inhale, exhale into cat. Find a little cow pose as you breathe in. Curling both toes this time. Finding dog. Let the knees bend if you prefer. We're still looking for that full range of motion in the shoulders, so rather than coming up and pressing the shoulders back, go ahead and find that full range of motion in the shoulder blades. Letting the heels gently move down towards the floor. Maybe keep the knees bent right now. And then letting the neck release. Finding tabletop. Locking the hands, one hand print forward, rolling down, forehead to the ground, arms around behind, keep ribs on the floor. Inhale, lifting just a little bit of the chest and shoulders, face is still looking at the ground. One more breath. Bringing hands along ribs, curl the toes, push up, finding downward facing dog, maybe pedal through this time. Keeping it a little more dynamic, and then table. Coming down to forearms this time, we'll find cat-cow in a forearm position. Inhale as that cow pose, exhaling a few more times. And then release. Get your blanket out from underneath you. Put it to the back of the mat and turn onto your bottom. Sitting up, we'll go ahead and grab hold of those toes or ankles, whatever feels best for you. Letting yourself come into a little forward fold, keeping the knees up against the triceps, chin tucks in. Letting the upper shoulder, the shoulder blades just flare apart. Big breath down the back. We'll go ahead and sit up, looking for that strong back again. Just wiggle your legs and move them around a little bit. Rub them up and down from top to bottom, underneath too. And then we'll go ahead and take a slow roll down to the ground. Shifting back, getting the shoulder blades back underneath you, pelvis to the floor, lightness in the back of the waist. And then drawing knees into the chest. And we'll get that little side to side motion, just getting the middle of the back gently massaged, just seeing how it feels. A couple of times to each side, no rush. Inviting heart rate, if it got up a little bit, to come down. And we'll take feet up to the ceiling, maybe tight arms overhead with a very soft elbow. And exhaling, maybe 3 or 4 more times. Inhaling and exhaling. Next time the knees come in, we go up and down the spine a few times. Soft, easy, comfortable breaths. No rush here, no resistance, just easy. Next time you find your knees moving away from you, just let them rest down onto the feet rest onto the floor, reestablishing your shoulder blades comfortable position. Sometimes a little baby bridge might feel good. That's just enough to get some weight onto your shoulder blades, let the neck get a good stretch, and then taking yourself back down to good posture, center of the pelvis. Unlocking the jaw. And as you're ready, letting your legs go down the mat, arms resting alongside your body, or put a bolster underneath your knees. Sometimes that feels good if you've got something. If not, no worries. And then just inviting yourself to progressively let go of feet coming up through the legs and finding your way towards whatever your Shavasana is for today. Giving yourself a few moments of rest. After you've taken your 5 or 8 minutes of rest, go ahead and let your body begin to move a little bit, wiggle, and slowly letting yourself roll onto your side again and come up to seated. Taking your time, no rush to get there. So seated can be cross-legged, seated can be on your shins, seated can be your legs right out in front of you, whatever feels most comfortable for you. Give yourself a moment and then go ahead and get up and enjoy the rest of your day.